that the court will dry out a little bit throughout the course of the match, but the players have said that it's much better, the court this year. They spent a lot of money on laying a new one, and my understanding is that this court is going to stay here now for the considerable future, whereas before the court was always taken out and then relaid the following season, and with a clay court in particular, you have to give it time to bed down. Williams played relatively well yesterday against Rani, winning that match in straight sets, although she did struggle in the quarterfinal against Anabel Medina Garrigues. Sharapova has played a little better throughout the course of the tournament, beating Ivanovic comfortably yesterday 6-4, 6-3 off the back of that win over Kai Kanepi in the quarterfinals, again in straight sets 6-2, 6-4. If you're wondering what happened to Victoria Azarenka, she was beaten by Makarova in the second round here in 3 sets. So that leaves the top 2 players in the world to face off. It was a little cooler this morning, actually, about 16, 17 degrees, but warming up very nicely now. And as it has been in the last few days, conditions perfect because the players haven't had to worry about any considerable wind affecting any of their shot-making abilities. And that's why we've seen, I think, some pretty decent tennis throughout the course of the week. But Serena not quite at her best on the red clay. Don't think there's any doubt about that when you look at her incredible record today. She's going for a 50th WTA singles title. It would only be her 7th on red clay. Of course, she is the defending champion here. Last year we played on the blue clay, which was considerably more slippery. Had a good season so far. Always nice when you can get your hand on trophies. Winner in Charleston, Miami and Brisbane, and she reached the final in Doha before being beaten in 3 sets by Victoria Azarenka. What a fantastic final that was, and that was the last time the top 2 players in the world faced off. So we're hopeful of more of the same today. She knows what it takes to get the job done in this part of the world, and I think she's played a little more confidently this year, given that she's been able to just move a little more safely around the court. Though, of course, both her and Sharapova don't slide particularly well on the clay, and that's why throughout the courses of their careers they haven't had as much success on this surface compared to others. Played relatively well early on in the week, but struggled against Medina Garrigues, the Spanish wildcard. Went AWOL in that second set, was down in the third before eventually prevailing, but did play better, particularly in the second set of yesterday's semi-final, where she cut out the unforced errors. That's been the one thing that she's had a problem with throughout the week, just missing too many basic shots. And of course on clay it's all about trying to keep the unforced error count nice and low. So we'll keep an eye on that this afternoon. Sharapova is appearing in her attempting to win her 30th WTA singles title. That would only be her 8th on clay. Of course, most famously, she was able to get her hands on the trophy in Paris last year to give her the full set of Grand Slam trophies. Still only 26 years of age, but she's talked a lot this week about, being sidelined with injury and coming back and enjoying all of this success kind of the second time around and rediscovering her love for the game, which is always nice. So there's still plenty of time for her to play at the highest level of the game, and her best results this year wins in Indian Wells and on clay indoors in Stuttgart, and she did lose to Serena in the final of Miami. And of course yesterday was her 500th victory on the WTA tour, so that's always nice. And of course today she knows she's got the added incentive of if she's able to beat Serena, she will be ranked the #1 player in the world on Monday. This year, getting to the final is her best result at this particular event. Was pretty much brushed aside last year in the quarterfinals, where she fared poorly on a very, very slippery court. Hasn't played her best tennis by any stretch of the imagination. It's been a pretty decent draw, actually. Second set in her match against Lazicki was highly competitive. Beat Kai Kanepi pretty comfortably in the quarterfinals. Nice to see Kanepi back in action after struggling early this season, after being sidelined with injury. And then played well against Ivanovic, who was hitting a good ball. She got a little frustrated in that opening set, the 16th seed, and fell away in the second. But Sharapova returned serve beautifully throughout, and of course she'll need that aspect of her game plan to work well this afternoon.
1 minute.
It's tough if you're a Sharapova fan and you're looking at their head-to-head records, because she had a lot of success initially. She beat Williams twice in the first 3 meetings dating back to Miami in 2004. She beat her at Wimbledon in that same season and at the WTA Championships. But since then, she hasn't been able to record a single victory. A couple of the matches, 3 in fact, have gone the distance, including their last match in Miami in that final. But once Williams got on top, Sharapova really did struggle in that deciding set. That's the big question mark. Is there too much mental scarring as far as that head-to-head record is concerned for Sharapova to believe that she can beat Williams in a final? Big event this, a WTA Premier mandatory, over €4 million in total. That means the champion this afternoon will take home just under €650,000, and the euro is strong right now, so that's decent money. And of course, the loser today guaranteed over €300,000. So it's one of the richest women's sports in the world. And of course, these two players have been able to pocket an awful lot of prize money throughout the course of their respective careers. And rightly so, because they're magnificent athletes, and they've done the game proud with all of their achievements. Sharapova does feel a little older than 26, doesn't she? Because she, of course, burst onto the scene so famously as a 17-year-old. But compared to Serena at 31, you know, you would have to suggest if Sharapova can keep healthy, fit, and still have a desire for the game and to compete at the highest level, she can be around for another, 5, 6, 7 years. Serena's in good shape too. I'm sure she would want to continue her dominance of the women's game for a few seasons to come. And that's why she's so desperate to try and maintain this #1 ranking. So we're all set. We're in the Magic Box in Madrid for what can only be described as a phenomenal final in prospect between the top 2 players in the world. The defending champion, Serena Williams, up against the French Open champion, of course, Maria Sharapova.
Time.
It's going to be important for Sharapova to get off to a decent start. To try and build up her confidence today. And the big question is, does she have the belief that she can beat Serena in a big match like this? She hasn't done so, of course, since beating the American in the WTA Championships back in 2004.
Primer set. Al servicio, Maria Sharapova. Ready?
So it'll be Sharapova to get the final underway. Had 1 or 2 problems yesterday with a second serve, but if she can work that out today, get a little more variation with the first. Her coach, Thomas Hogsted, came on court yesterday and told her to use the kicker as the first serve, to just vary it slightly instead of just going for it all the time. And I think that's going to be crucial today, because she can't give Serena too many looks at her second serve, because she really does put you under pressure as a returner. She's so dominant in that area of her game. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. You see the position that Serena takes up inside the baseline, an imposing figure. So it's important that Sharapova, who has admitted she doesn't have the necessary feel on that second serve to hit a good kick serve. I mean, Serena's is the best in the business, the best ever, I think. So she's got to take a bit of pressure off herself by making more firsts. Sam Stosur, of course, right up there as far as good kick serves are concerned, but I think Williams is able to hit it under pressure a little more accurately, a little more reliably than Sam, although both are outstanding. Maria's is hit with a little more slice, a little more pace. And that's the problem. because Serena's so good when returning, and Sharapova doesn't defend particularly well, doesn't move well, slide like a Schiavone, it's been brought up on this surface, then she's going to be in trouble. So a chance here for the top seed. And I think that's the big difference when you're talking about players that can beat Serena. I like Azarenka, and her chance is better because she moves better than Sharapova. And that was key when she beat Serena in a final in Doha. She was able to aggressively defend under pressure much better than somebody like a Sharapova. And more of the same there. Sharapova simply can't afford to play too many rallies like that where she's on the back foot. So Williams will be delighted with that start. Nice and aggressive. And for Sharapova, she's just got to believe that she's going to be able to return well enough to return the favour, as it were, and break serve. But Serena's delivery is a lot better than Sharapova's, and that's one of the fundamental differences between the two.
Serena Williams and service.
It's a nice start. Of course, Serena beat Annabel Medina Garrigues in 3 sets in the quarterfinals, and interestingly, the Spaniard leads the way as far as active players with the most clay court titles are concerned. She's won 10. Serena's won 6. And Sharapova one more with 7. Venus Williams, incidentally, just behind Medina Garrigues with 9 victories so far. And the others, Flavia Pennetta with 7, Sarah Irani with 6. So those players brought up on clay, of course. Well, Serena thought it was just wide. It was a late call. She circled the mark. Umpire will just double check that. Yeah, and he agrees. So that was a good call, just a little late, that's all. Sharapova fans not happy with it. Nice variation. Of course, the kick serve is the one that she can rely upon most. But Sharapova returns a little better off the backhand, so it's not a bad idea for Serena's to hit that second serve to the Sharapova forehand, especially when you 40 love up. Got a bit of leeway. Beautifully done. Striking the ball very well indeed in the early stages of this final. Opened up the court well with the initial forehand cross court. Timing there, beautiful. No chance for Sharapova. So it's Williams with a 2-love lead. WTAtennis.com is the official website of women's professional tennis. It's well worth a look. Keep up to date with all of the latest news, match highlights, tournament details, and of course player bios. You have the players blogging on there as well, which is always interesting. That's the difficulty when you don't hit up the ball, when you don't get the elevation over the net, and you can serve a lot of double faults. That's always been Sharapova's problem. In the back of her mind, she knows the serve has to be good because otherwise Serena will just club it. And she's really battling hard now to remain positive in the face of adversity after a shaky start here on serve.
15.
It's in desperate need of a cheap point here. Serena, 15-14. That's all Williams at the moment. 2 break points for a lead of a double break. That's just too good. She's been a model of controlled aggression in the opening 3 games here. Couldn't have wished for a brighter start. My name's Jason Goodall and we're concentrating on the final here in Madrid. A lot of talk initially about the big battle for supremacy at the top of the rankings. The winner of this match will be the world number 1 on Monday. Of course, that's currently Serena. Became the oldest ever world number 1 earlier this season. Sharapova trying to dislodge her. But it's been the American who's got off to the perfect start so far. Serving at the difficult end, though, now. Into the sun, but with a 3-love lead. That's cruel. A better rally from Sharapova. At least she was hanging with Williams from the baseline.
50-11.
It's a rare error. Patrick Artogliu, also been working as Serena's coach / consultant since French Open last year, actually. Runs his academy out of Paris. A lot of good players there. Martina Hingis coaching out of that academy at the moment with Anastasia Pavlyuchenkova. That was close. No argument, though, from Sharapova. What a serve. That's what I was talking about earlier. You get so much work off the court when you can hit a kicker as good as that on clay. It's so tough for Sharapova. I mean, she prefers the backhand return, and she's got a great double-hander, but that thing's above shoulder height and moving. Kicking like a mule. So tough to control. There it was again. That was a phenomenal serve. Sharapova doing well to control the return. What a brilliant serve that was. We've seen some really good variation from Serena when stepping up to the line today. Sliders worked well to the deuce court, the kickers worked well to the ad courts, and that one straight into the body. Always a good tactic to use if you can hit your serve with enough pace. Great stuff. In 2012, Victoria Azarenka and Serena became the first couple of women to surpass $7 million in prize money in a single season. It's one of the richest women's sports in the world now, including the Grand Slams. Prize money will exceed $100 million this season. And of course, career prize money. Serena's up there at just under 45 mil. Maria Sharapova at just over 25 mil, but you can probably at least double that in terms of off-court earnings as well. Probably triple it. So both have done well out of the sport. Serena's only hit a couple of second serves. She's lost both of those points. Sharapova 0 for 5 with 3 doubles now. That's more like it. That was a good first serve. That had a bit more spin on it. That was good. And great footwork to take that forehand nice and early. Anticipated where the ball was going to bounce well. Not an easy one for the coach, obviously, because he has to try and build Sharapova up. He has to try and make her believe she can beat Serena, but of course, very, very difficult for her not to feel that it's virtually impossible, given she hasn't done it since 2004. And if Serena plays her best, she knows she doesn't really have any chance to compete. That's the beauty of playing as well as Serena does and hitting with as much pace. Serving that effectively and returning so aggressively that if she plays her best tennis, doesn't matter what the court surface is or who the opponent is, that she knows she's got an excellent chance of winning. That's just a fact. Crowd getting behind Sharapova now. Nice to see. They'd like to see this final become a highly competitive affair. Another good serve into the body. So at least she's thinking. It's always a good sign, especially when you're losing, rather than panicking. Try and work things out. Find a solution. Manolo Santana. This court's named after, of course. Ball toss too far forward and too far to her right. Off that toss, you can only hit it flattish with a bit of slice at best. Ball toss needs to be further back and a little further over her head, so at least she can generate a little bit of topspin, get more margin for error, get a better shape to the serve, more chance of it going over the net. Got to clear the first obstacle.
Sharapova.
You can see what she was trying to do on the serve. Didn't quite time it though. That's why she's a little disgruntled there. But the ball toss was a little further back. She was trying to hit the kicker there. So the return just a little too deep for her to handle. Williams dominating when she gets that first serve in. She's won 9 of 11 points so far. Sharapova struggling. That was a makeable return. That's why Serena's a little frustrated there. But of the 2 ground strokes, if you're going to try and break one down, easy to do that with the forehand. Serena's one of the few players that can force Sharapova back behind the baseline. Normally, she plays further up the court than that. She likes taking the ball on the rise. When she's hitting from a deeper position and she tries to hit the ball a little higher over the net, she doesn't hit with much spin. So, therefore, she can lose control of the shot. It can fly on her, especially here, where a little bit of altitude. She's only won 4 of 17 baseline points so far. First ace, which helps her cause. Now again, it's just a little too flat. Oh yeah, that's better. Really came around the outside edge of the ball there, so hit aggressively but with a little bit more spin. Good racket head speed here. An excellent shot selection too, hitting aggressively but to a relatively safe target. Just can't get this service game out of the way. And tucked under a belt. 5 doubles now. And a 5th deuce. I mean, even if she doesn't get anything out of this opening set, if she can just hold here, at least she'll feel involved in the match. Getting used to that pattern of play now. When she hits the slider, Serena will return cross-court most of the time, and if it's not deep, then that does allow Sharapova to use the open court, or, as she did on the previous deuce, go back behind the American. That's a good game. And Sharapova has summoned Thomas Hogstead to get a little bit of a pep talk, because it's Williams who leads 4-1 first set.
Good lost game. You need to take the fight. You're not here. You're just going around thinking and where you are. First game, she's not playing something special. That's what you have to show her. You hit one shot and then you're quick ready. You're mixing up. Number one thing, finish your serve. Then you worry about the return. That you stay up there, because now you're coming totally under. She's going to make a couple of winners, but in the first service game, she just kind of played the ball back and you were totally not ready. But go in like this. You're so close to beat her last time, but you have to give her the fight. You have to hit the shot and then be quick ready. You cannot hit one shot and then stay up. That's the problem now, because you do one shot and then you go backwards. Go the open court like that, but you have nothing to fear for. She makes a couple of winners, but she's going to make a lot of mistakes when you come in. All right? She really feel like you're pushing her after the second set. All right? So go back and work on the ball now and show that you are here in the final. You're going to turn this match around. All right? Come on now. Let's go.
Sharapova has suggested that she loves the positivity and the intensity that Hogstead brings to the practice court and the match court, and she likes using him for pep talks in the middle of matches. And clearly he wants to see Sharapova compete better, more belief in the body language and in the execution of her shots, urging her to take the game to Serena, to show her that she believes she can beat her, and that she was close to doing so in Miami. So Williams, who's got off to a better start here, leading 4-1 in the opening set.
Quince set. 15-0.
It wasn't the best of drop shots. Gave it a little too much air, but she took up a good position after it. And of course, against Maria, it doesn't have to be executed perfectly, because she doesn't move particularly well up the court. And a nice combination of shots from Serena there. Yes, read the serve well. If you're going to go with a slider, doesn't matter what court surface you're playing on, you've got to go a little closer to the single sideline. Otherwise, it's right into the hitting zone. Good footwork. That, incidentally, only the first serve that Serena's missed so far. So she's been able to put Sharapova under considerable amount of pressure all of her service games. Those are good numbers. 80% of first serves finding their mark. As you would expect, she's been utterly dominant when that first serve has gone in. She's won 11 of 13 points so far. That's 85%. And that, of course, one of the fundamental differences between these two, the quality of the serving and the dominance thereafter in those service games. Williams looking for another break. She's just 4 points away from wrapping up this opening set now. That's good serve. Thomas Hogstead was talking about wanting Sharapova to finish her motion first, concentrate on the execution of the serve before worrying about what's going to happen in terms of defending off the return. That was unlucky. I thought for a second that was going to go in then. Missing by a country mile initially. Another really good forehand. We saw Serena hit a couple of those yesterday. Instead of going with the hard, pacey forehand up the line, creating the angle. Nice to see her using intelligent shot selection to win the point as opposed to pace, strength. I mean, that is world class. Wonderful return. Footwork was so good. Took it so early. There's no wonder Sharapova's got a bit of a thing about the quality of her second serve when she sees returns like that. Wonderful angle on the return too. Not only has the serving been outstanding, but the quality of the returns we've seen from Serena in this opening set have been top draw. Really has raised the level of her overall game compared to the other matches that she's played this week. And of course, great champions are able to do that. They save their best tennis for when they might need it most. 2 set points. That was a good serve. And to the body, it means returning it aggressively is so much more difficult.
30-40. 13-14.
Still set point. It's made it. And that is an outstanding set of tennis from the current world number one. Couldn't be happier, I'm sure, those associated with Serena, who wraps up the opening set after 32 minutes. 6-1.
¿Puedo tomar mi agua, por favor? Mi agua.
Time.
Sentense rápidamente, por favor. Señoras, señores, gracias.
So, of course, it's all about maintaining the concentration and the intensity level now. For Serena, couldn't have played a better opening set. Still not that easy for a right-hander serving at the far end of this court, but she does have the advantage of having new balls in hand. Lovell. That's the perfect start.
15-0. 15-11.
Yeah, didn't quite time either shot there, but had enough court to make good use of after that return created a wonderful little angle.
15-0.
And of course the new balls travelled to the edge just that little bit quicker, so meant Serena couldn't quite chase that second one down. Oof, that's unlucky.
You want me to take it?
Umpire thought it was definitely long, and Serena circled the mark. That's always nice because then there's no confusion over where the ball actually bounced or which mark it actually was. Kadir Nunez,
30-15, ter continue.
experienced umpire. This is better. Sharapova, she does have the support of the vast majority of neutrals in the crowd as well. Thomas Hodgstad will know the importance of getting off to a decent start in this set. Got to try and build up the confidence, which was obviously shattered throughout the course of the opening set. So what a chance then for Sharapova. Nicely done. So that will hopefully give Sharapova a little bit of a boost. After being outplayed throughout the course of the opening set, gets off to a decent start here in the second. Quality of the serving in the opening 7 games was a fundamental difference between the two. Williams made 81% of her first serves, won the vast majority of those points, able to dominate the rallies thereafter. Nice ratio of winners to unforced errors. I mean, only 5 in total in 7 games is outstanding for Serena on clay. Too many unforced errors and a lot of forced errors from Sharapova, who didn't serve anywhere near as well as she needs to compete with Serena. Particularly on clay. Williams' return was outstanding throughout. So Sharapova pretty much outplayed in the opening set, but getting off to a better start here in the second. Her turn now to serve into the sun, but she does have a 1-love lead. You've got to be a little lucky when you're playing against the best player in the world, and Sharapova certainly was there throughout the course of that rally.
20-0, 15-love.
Nicely done. Making more balls now. Earning a few more cheap points as a result. She's drawing errors from Williams. Good length initially. Good use of the open court too. Serena certainly doesn't like defending, and she's not particularly good at it. So if you can force a wide of the singles sideline, you are going to be able to earn cheap points. And that's a wonderful serve. This is much better from Sharapova.
40-0, 40-love.
30-15. 40-15.
Yes, much better from Sharapova. Great length initially and good footwork up to the short ball. You can see the confidence that she gained from that initial break of serve throughout the course of that service game.
2 games to love.
Playing much better tennis now. Starting to believe. News and updates from the WTA can be followed on Twitter, twitter.com/WTA or @WTA. Both players have Twitter accounts as well, @Serena Williams and @Maria Sharapova. Williams has 3.6 million followers.
Quince 0. 50 love. Renta 0. 30 love.
Has to remain aggressive, there's no question about that, but of course she knows those errors hurt her cause, but she has started better in this set.
Renta 15. 30-15.
Needs to be careful here, Serena. Can't afford to fall behind a double break as Maria did in the opening set. And that's a really sensible serve. She knew she needed to make the first serve there, so she went with the kicker. It's still so effective. Look at the trajectory here and the work off the court, forcing Sharapova to return with just the one hand, and then didn't panic with the forehand. Good target. Better service game that. But it's Sharapova who holds the upper hand in the early stages of this second set. She's a break to the good. 2-1.
life is a fire, pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. Strong is beautiful. Strong is.
Time. Siéntense rápidamente, por favor. Gracias. Quince cero. 15 love. Trenta cero. 30.
Well, this is what she needs to do. If she can get a first serve in and then dominate the point, it means she won't be defending, and it means that she'll make life a lot more difficult for Serena. Wasn't able to do that enough in the opening set.
Cero. 40 love.
It's a little easier now for Sharapova to hold serve, and that of course helps the confidence. Williams has gone off the boil ever so slightly, just making a few more unforced errors now, but it's coincided with Sharapova serving more effectively. Of course, Serena became the oldest woman to rank #1 in the world at 31 earlier this year. It was in Doha. And of course today, playing for the #1 ranking. Winner of today's match will be ranked #1 when the new rankings list is produced tomorrow.
Zero 15 love 14. Iguales, 51. Trenta 15. 30-15. Gracias.
That's a good return, because again, that is a tough serve to have to deal with. Moving off the court, a lot of spin. And of course it can just deviate a little bit given playing on a clay court, so you've got to keep your eye on the ball, you've got to be so strong. That's the advantage of having a double-handed backhand net. Well, that was another good return. Took it really early. She's trying to make contact with the ball before it gets above shoulder height.
40-30.
Another wonderful return. Serena going with the variation. Not able to do enough with it. There's no question that Sharapova is hitting the ball a little more aggressively with more confidence now in the second set, willing to take the ball on. Yeah, that's a better serve. So now the challenge for Williams is, can she raise the level of her game as Sharapova's done in the last 20 minutes or so. Sometimes when you win a set as comfortably as Serena did initially, there's a bit of a letdown in the early stages of the next one. A shame when she changed the direction of the shot with the backhand, there just wasn't quite enough on it, and that allowed Serena to dominate with the forehand. But a good rally from both, going toe-to-toe. Eventually Serena holds, but it's Sharapova who leads, 3-2.
Bring up to 2. Time.
Of course, these two players playing off to be ranked top of the pile on Monday morning, but the other big story of the week has been the fact that Singapore have been awarded the season-ending championships by the WTA and will host it from 2014 to 2018 inclusive. Record prize money purse of $6.5 million. Top 8 singles players, and of course for the first time ever the top 8 doubles teams will compete in Singapore. A huge bidding process conducted by the WTA, 43 expressions of interest from international cities. Singapore won it in the end. Of course, barring injuries, these two will be there, no question about that. And of course it's always an ambition of any player to qualify for the year-end championships, because it shows you've had a consistent season of competing at the highest level. Didn't quite time the return, but you know, when you hit your first serve hard and the returner uses the pace of the serve and can generate a little bit of width, and you're always going to be under pressure in terms of your movement, especially somebody like Sharapova or indeed a Williams who don't move naturally on this surface, don't like defending. not natural types of shots for them to hit. No, she's missed it. It was another good return. Serena looked long and hard at where the serve actually bounced. She was close to challenging it, but decided against it, and it was a good decision in the end. And for the first time in this second set now, Sharapova under real pressure on the serve. Generally speaking, she has served a lot more effectively in this set, but those double faults are always going to come back to haunt her, really, when she doesn't hit that serve with enough topspin. So that one could prove crucial. It's allowed Serena to get back on serve midway through the second set. Williams is building up a good head of steam now midway through this set. She won 9 of the last 11 points, so she's wrestled the momentum from Sharapova. As a player, you have to learn to deal with that return that's short and central, because that's where the majority of them will fall, particularly off a good serve, and you have to know what shot you're going to try and use most of the time. Normally it's the forehand, but on that occasion the backhand proving just as effective. Oh, she's made it. What a wonderful backhand that was, because initially I thought she'd lost the advantage in the rally. Started well, but Sharapova defended beautifully and started to boss the point until Serena was able to come up with that in order to win it. That's the advantage of having a double-handed backhand. You can use the top hand, the left hand as far as she's concerned, to draw the ball back into court under pressure. Sharapova's doing a good job of reading that slider more frequently, and as a result able to hit the return a little better, more effectively. Cheap point.
31 です。Dario.
Half chance then this for Sharapova. Strange shot selection from Williams there on such a big point. 3-all, 30-all. Surely you can't go with the drop shot there. Not a natural shot for Serena to hit at all. Sharapova did well, even though she doesn't move particularly well up the court. Unfortunately for her, there wasn't enough elevation on the attempted lob. Good point to win that one. Crucial. And it gives Sharapova break point. And that's quickly snuffed out. It's more like it from Serena. Sticking to the basics when under pressure. But Body language much better, though, from Sharapova, isn't it, than what we saw throughout the opening set. Starting to believe now, at least competing on level terms with Serena now. There's nothing you can do about that. Quality serving.
Ventaja. Williams.
And again. I mean, even if it had gone over, I think Sharapova would have been able to run it down, but I just don't see the point in attempting a shot like that when you're behind the baseline. Just a sudden rush of blood to the head. There's 2 points in this game lost due to the use of the drop shot. Unforced error count starting to rise now. Double what she made in the opening set.
Red. Passer.
It's big serving. A little bit of help off the line there as well. Virtually impossible to return when that happens. Ball skids, deviates as well. Can't anticipate whether it's going to skip up or skid through. It's good serving. Despite those two drop shots, Williams manages to hold.
Williams gana 4-3. 4 games to 3.
And she leads by a set and 4 games to 3 now. Williams camp, of course, have to try and guard against thinking that the match is almost over. Set and 4-3 is the lead, but the second set has been a lot more competitive than the first. But there's an awful lot of pressure now on Sharapova, serving second in this set. And Williams will be looking to impose herself here, especially early on in the game. Just a little late on that, and didn't really fully commit to the shot either. There wasn't a lot of racket head speed there, just ended up pushing it. That's what Thomas Hogstead wanted when he came on court and had a chat with Sharapova when she was 4-1 down in the opening set. He wanted full commitment to those ground strokes within the rallies. We've certainly seen more of that in this second set.
iguales, 15-all.
What a brilliant return that was. Again, that slice serve just not wide enough. Timed beautifully, though, by Williams.
15-13.
This is the pressure I was speaking of early on in this game. Great champions, so aware of when the time is right to turn the screw. It's a nice pattern of play. Crucial she got that first serve in there and serving to the Williams weakness.
30-all.
Got the short reply as a result, dealt with beautifully. It's not out of the woods yet, though. Always a danger of that.
30-40.
Same scenario, just hitting with slice as opposed to topspin. Definitely served a lot better in this second set. That's only her second double out of a total of 7. But it could prove very costly indeed. It gives Williams break point. Nicely done. Again, the quality of serve was crucial because you got the short reply. And she could deal with that beautifully off the backhand. Nice high take back, good extended follow through. Good stuff from Sharapova. Breakpoint saved. Better serve.
Ventaja. Sharapova.
And that one just skidding off the service line, so that's a really crucial hold.
4 iguales. 4 games all.
Really good effort there emotionally. Would have been very easy to get down on herself when she served the double at 30-all, but responded beautifully. At a good point when break point down and served positively thereafter. And draws level, 4 apiece now.
50 love.
Oof, just missed it. What a good little slice backhand that was from Serena. Not easy to make the necessary adjustments when the ball clips the top of the net. Had to come inside the ball here and got just enough depth on it to draw the error. Good hands.
Love.
Always a big bonus when you can hold as comfortably as that, when it really matters. Williams still very much in the driving seat, leads by a set and 5 games to 4 now. Top seed, the defending champion and the current world #1, has moved to within a game of victory here, facing the current world #2, Maria Sharapova. More pressure on the shoulders of the Russian now. She needs to hold serve to stay in this final. Yep, just moved off the line, didn't it? So slightly fortunate there. It's so tough to make the necessary adjustment because you just don't have any time at all to do so. That's a cruel blow on the first point of such an important game. More of the same. Good forehands from Serena. If you can always draw Maria wide of that single sideline, you've always got an excellent chance of getting an error. So intelligent and aggressive hitting, but to relatively safe targets mean that Williams now is just 2 points away from victory. since
Zero.
Serena offing. Served a lot better in the second set, but in these tough service games at the tail end of the sets, she has been found wanting in regard to the quality of her second serve in particular. After an hour and 18 minutes, it's Williams with 3 championship points. She's done it. Victory for Serena Williams. The 50th WTA singles title of her glittering career. And remarkably, only her 7th on the red clay. It's the 4th title of the season for the American. And with the win, she retains her world #1 ranking. Hence the delight. Gets the job done today in straight sets. 6-1, 6-4. Said yesterday that she loves winning trophies, but she really does delight in being the #1 player in the world. And that was on the line today. Sharapova will be bitterly disappointed, but when you looked at their matchup coming into this particular encounter, everybody would have suggested it was going to be difficult for her to believe that she could beat Serena, given the last time she was able to do so was in the WTA Championships back in 2004. So it's Serena who signs off as the champion after a good week's work. Definitely raised the level of her game today, and that's what all great champions are able to do. When they feel they're going to need their best tennis, they're able to bring it. She has struggled in some of the matches throughout the week, but her serve today was so much better than it has been previously. 78% was her first serve percentage, and she won almost 75% of those points because that allows her to dominate the rally. And of course, she loves to do that, hates to defend. Nice ratio of winners to unforced errors. Didn't make many in the opening set, a few more in the second set. Played the big points very well, converting 5 of 8 break points. Only allowed Sharapova 2 break points in the match. She wasn't able to serve anywhere near well enough, especially in that opening set, but competed a little better in the second. But there's no question that Serena deserves to be the champion here on the form she showed in the last hour and 20 minutes or so. Obviously delighted with a week's work. Always a little bit of additional pressure when somebody's trying to take that #1 ranking off you. And that's why I think she's delighted and relieved more than anything else. Of course, she was the defending champion here, but a very different tournament this year, given the quality of the court was a little better. And of course, it was always going to be crucial, we mentioned at the top of the match, for the winner of this particular encounter to dominate throughout the course of it. And that's what Serena was able to do. The quality of her serving and returning in the opening set was just outstanding, world class. And in the second set, lost her concentration perhaps. The intensity dipped a little bit at the beginning of the second set. Sharapova did raise the level of her game. She served better. She had a better attitude. She seemed to believe a little more in that second set, but when it really mattered, did struggle with that second serve as well. And that meant that Serena, towards the end of the set in particular, was able to put enough pressure on Sharapova to get the cheap points, the 2 double faults in the last 2 service games, costing the Russian dear. So it's Serena Williams who is crowned the champion here in Madrid. Of course, this is a very special year for women's tennis, the 40th anniversary of the WTA. June 1973 was when the WTA was created by Billie Jean King and 63 other pros that shared her vision for this particular sport. And of course, the likes of Serena and Maria now benefiting from all the hard work that Billie Jean and all of her peers at the time put in back in the day. Time now then for the trophy ceremony.
Y mientras tanto, les invitamos a ver en los 4 videomarcadores de este estadio.
There's no question it's a big event, this premier mandatory event on the women's tour. We've seen some good stuff throughout the course of the week. It's been a highly entertaining tournament. Always nice to look back on all the highs and lows of another fantastic tournament.
Mutua Madrid Open, Ignacio Garralda, presidente de la Mutua, Concepción Dancausa, primera teniente alcalde de Madrid, y Julia Orlandi en representación de la UITA.
The dignitaries making their way to the podium.
Y ahora, don Ignacio Garralda, presidente de Mutua Madrileña, entrega el trofeo de subcampeona del Mutua Madrid Open 2013 en categoría femenina a la jugadora rusa Maria Sharapova.
And of course, the finalist, Maria Sharapova, who was looking for her 30th WTA singles title today. It would have only been her 8th on the red clay, and it would have been her 3rd title of the season, but it wasn't to be. Beaten by a better player this afternoon.
I would like to thank the whole crowd this week for being so supportive. You know, every single match, it's been wonderful to come to Madrid, and this is my first time in the finals of this tournament, so it is quite special. I wish I could have gone an extra round, but there's always many more years to come. I want to thank my team. Thank you for always supporting me, being there for me. Obviously, Serena, congratulations on a great week and a great year so far as well. And the tournament, and can't wait to be back next year. Thanks for all your support.
Y ahora Concepción Dancausa, primera teniente alcalde del Ayuntamiento de Madrid, entrega el premio de campeona del Mutua Madrileña 2013 en categoría femenina a la norteamericana Serena Williams.
A 50th WTA singles title for Serena Williams, only her 7th on the dirt, her 4th title of the season, and of course with the win it means she retains her world #1 ranking. She of course was the defending champion, gets the job done this time around on the red clay, of course this time last year it was on the blue clay.
Gracias a Dios, gracias a todas estar, gracias a... Estoy muy feliz, gracias a María, gracias.
That's a good effort. Short and sweet, but the locals appreciating her efforts in Spanish.
De la Agüita va a entregar a Manolo Santana un reconocimiento por los 5 años del torneo aquí en la caja mágica del circuito Agüita. Entrega Julia Orlandi a Manolo Santana, director del torneo.
Congratulating Manolo Santana on 5 outstanding years here. Of course, this centre court named after the great Spaniard. Warm applause for both finalists, superstars that transcend our sport. It's always nice when the best in the world battle it out for the major trophies. These two, of course, were the Olympic finalists last year. Both have made dramatic comebacks from ill health and injury. So nice to see them both involved at the very top of the sport. And long may that continue. Both fierce competitors. No love lost between the two, really, but it's always going to be the case at the very top of any sport when there's so much at stake when these two face one another. The 2013 champion here in Madrid is the world number 1, the top seed, and the defending champion, Serena Williams. Hope you enjoyed our coverage throughout the course of the week, and of course we'll be doing more of the same from Rome next week. No rest for the wicked. Of course, don't forget, for daily match highlights, player videos, score updates, tournament information and WTA news, you can log on to WTAtennis.com. Duplication, reproduction or retransmission of this broadcast without the expressed written consent of the WTA is strictly prohibited. This has been a presentation of the WTA. I hope you've enjoyed our coverage throughout the course of the week, and we look forward to your company again next week in Rome. Until then, it's bye for now.